ठीक है, okay. Okay, so what are we talking about? Can we do a little recap so that we all know what we've done so far? You've been following the classes, right? And Ramin has been coming regularly. So who would like to do a small recap of where we are at this point? What was your name?
We have studied binding energy of
नाम थोड़ा सा याद करा दो मुझे. Shajil. Okay, Shajil put it here. Okay.
And we have studied binding energy of nucleus, and then we also discussed a few questions from the chapter 2, and we did an introduction of chapter 1, which includes few terms about the nuclear physics.
Yes. Right, fine. Okay, so I just wanted to do a recap so that we all know what we are doing. So like you have the book. We have the book in soft and we have the book, very good. This is a standard book, and in addition we can use other material as well. But right now this is the basic book we are following, and we are following the first 3 chapters, right? So you have this in soft as well. You can make a photocopy if you want, right? So and it's also easily available in the student edition and all that. Right. So the first chapter was nothing, it was just an introduction of some basic terminologies that we are using, right, some basic terms. The second chapter is a summary of quantum mechanics, because these are some equations that we will be using from time to time. So that's why we have a summary of this. Like I said, some students were a little bit nervous, getting scared of quantum mechanics. So I told them that no, we are not going into too much detail, right? We are only going, and again the book also is advanced, right? But we are not going to cover it 100%, because it's more than you can cover in one course. So we will do some selected topics, and I will be explaining the parts relevant to that. If you have an interest, you can study further, but it's not like required for the exams, okay? So you can go, I don't want you to be stressed, I don't want you to be nervous, right? Because I've seen generally students, when you get nervous, then you're not able to perform well. So just take it easy, enjoy it, and we'll go through the course, right? Okay, fine. Right, now मेरा ख्याल इसको बंद ही कर लें थोड़ी देर के लिए, अभी मुझे नहीं चाहिए, right? So I think I'll switch it off. I just wanted to be ready with this, but I'll switch it off right now. Hello Durdana, how are you? आप ठीक हो? Take care, okay? Right. So we were talking about properties of the nucleus. This is chapter number 3. And when we are talking about the properties of the nucleus, we said that since nuclear, the word nuclear, the term nuclear depends upon basically the nucleus. We are not interested in the electrons. So we are trying to understand the properties of the nucleus itself in this chapter. Moreover, we are looking at the static properties of the nucleus. So far, we will talk about the dynamic behavior of a nucleus later on, right? So in this chapter, this is like the foundational chapter. So this is what we talk about. So in the last classes, like you said, we talked about binding energy. The reason was that many nuclear phenomena are based on the concept of binding energy, which relates to the famous E is equal to mc squared, and that's what makes nuclear very powerful as well, right? Okay, but in addition to that, there are many other aspects of nuclear, and now we are looking at the nucleus itself. So we are interested, for example, in the size of the nucleus, the radius of the nucleus, right? We are interested on the nucleons. The nucleons are the particles inside the nucleus, and we have to find ways to, for example, measure these different properties of the nucleus. Now, like you know that this is not something we can physically see or measure, so we have over a period of time we have had scientists. Again, if you look at the history of how different things were discovered, it's really interesting. So we are looking at this from the scientific academic interest, and that's what we are all interested in, right? I think you were the one who gave a comment in the group also, and that was nice actually, right? So we are interested on the scientific aspect of it, and we don't care about anything else that's going on, right? That's not our subject. So, again, when we look at how different properties were discovered and how, like you said, if we want to discover something, we have to try to design an experiment which will give us some information that we can then use to try to relate to a property or a behavior, right. So, like an accelerator is a very big piece of experimental facility. It's you have a very few such facilities that exist, but there have been scientists who have done some very simple experiments in their own small garage or some place like that, and they have been able to come up with some very groundbreaking discoveries, right. So, we are going to also look at that. So, we are looking at nuclear charge radius. Okay. For example, we talked about you have the nucleons. Now, these nucleons are the protons and the neutrons. Protons are the charged particle, and therefore, whenever there is a charged particle, we know that there is a Coulomb field, there is a Coulomb energy, right. So, you can also use that to try to determine the radius of this field, right. Okay. So, this is one of the things that we are looking at. I am speaking from page number 54. So, page 54 is from your book, right. So, like I said, there are many figures in the book, many equations, and do not be worried if you do not understand. We will only deal with the ones that are relevant to what we are discussing. Okay. So, now in this case, another way, we discussed some things before in the previous classes. One of the ways of determining the nuclear charge radius is from the direct measurement of the Coulomb energy differences in the nucleus, right. So, let us consider an example of this and this, right. Okay. So, what is this?
It's a tritium.
Tritium. And what is the second one?
Helium-3.
It is helium-3. So, these are isotopes. One is the isotope of hydrogen, the other is the isotope of helium. We also talked about the concept of mirror nuclei last time, right. So, we are coming from there. Okay. So, in this case, this is the number of, and this is the number of, the same goes here, right. Okay. So, to get helium-3 from hydrogen-3, what happens? What is the difference? If this is what we have and we want to achieve this, what is happening actually? One neutron is
We
being,
need a beta decay to be more precise.
huh?
It gives a beta decay, right now, a beta decay.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, we will come to that later. We will study beta decay after some time. But anyway, yes, we need to change a proton into a neutron, which is again a reaction that is similar to the beta decay reaction. So, nuclear force does not. So, to get He3 from H3, we must change a proton into a neutron. Okay. So, nuclear force does not distinguish between a proton and huh? Okay. 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 So, you know that the nucleons have forces between themselves. So, we talked about the Coulomb force, we also have the nuclear force, right. So, changing a proton into a neutron or a neutron into a proton should therefore not affect the nuclear energy of the system, right, and only the Coulomb energy should change in this case. So, because the two protons in He3 experience a repulsion that is not present in H3. So, there is a different kind of a force in that case. The energy difference between He3 and H3 is thus a measure of the Coulomb energy of the second proton. So, you can study this is given in your chapter, and so we can go to the steps. So, if we can go both ways, we can change the neutron into a proton or we can change a proton into a neutron. So, let us